With a slight turn of the knob, the security room's ripe for the picking. Oh no! Oh no! Greetings, my beautiful viewers. I am the Hunter of Comedy, and welcome back to The Letter. So, last time, everything's finally starting to come to a head because everyone is starting to be smarter. They're starting to realize that it is a ghost. They're starting to realize that there is coincidences, that all these things may in fact be connected. And we're playing as Ash now because in the last 2 episodes ago now, we switched from Rebecca to Ash. So yeah, now we're hanging with Isabella. We're trying to get secret special stuffs from her apartment and see if we can, try to uncover more of this mystery to figure out, Rebecca definitely found something, and she finds it on the following day than when we're on. So, or is it the same day? Maybe it's the same day. I don't know. Maybe I'm gonna get the scene where, everyone meets up together. Who knows? Awesome. Okay. Here we go. It's a quiet ride up to the 7th floor, where the BRC Luxborn main office is. Seb was kind enough to switch the guest elevator's power on just as I'm about to head up for the fire stairs. Which is a welcome relief. I'm an active guy, but stairs? Fuck stairs, man. I don't want to tire out too quickly, in case things get ugly. There probably won't be any trouble with the building this quiet, but you never know. I swear the whole place definitely feels eerie at this time of night. But, until I've confirmed anything, those are still just stories. Worse things can happen. No need to scare myself. Staying calm means fewer mistakes.
Though I sure am fucking gutsy, especially with what I'm doing.
Yeah, ya are. I'm breaking a lot of laws here. I'm also putting Isabella on a lot of risks. Best thing that come out of this is that Isabella's right all along. Worst case scenario? 1. Someone finds out Isabella's involvement with her, and her boss fires her. 2. I find evidence that would implicate BRC or Luke Wright in a crime, and my meddling, if I'm not careful enough, makes it inadmissible in court. I'll be honest though, I strongly prefer losing my job or facing Wright over some spirit or ghost or whatever it is. Definitely agree with you on that one, Broseph. I could always work around the problems with the former. Isabella could always find a better job. BRC never did pay her properly, despite her efforts. But fighting off a phantom? How does one even do that? Do guns even work with them? I mean, books worked? I mean, Rebecca hit one with a book! That seemed to work!
Yeah, not going to happen.
But tonight, I'm here to fix things. If I do it without leaving a trail, all the better. Good thing that's what I'm good at. Easy way in. What I'll probably never be good at is finding the proper words when a sitch calls for it. But seeing Isabella's small form behind those walls, how she pushes through despite an entirely different burden this time, how she's pretending as if everything's normal, it's difficult not to try. People who have never looked beyond her smiles will never know. Will never understand. Hell, even Rebecca's probably not aware of any of this. I get it. We have other problems at hand. I've done the same thing plenty of times to protect myself, after all. But it's all in her eyes when she glances up at a few light raps I give the door. She wastes no time in leaving the mess of papers on the table and opening it for me, though even her confusion as she takes in my presence barely hides it.
Seb let you in?
The rough edge in her voice rings a whole different tune now that I'm aware why. But knowing is different from hearing it straight from her. I can't simply bring it up, can I? It's not a topic for casual conversation, and I doubt she wants to talk to me about it. As much as I want to help, there's a distance between us I'll never be able to cross. One that wouldn't even be there if it wasn't for me. Perhaps, if I had been more honest years ago, and less of a coward, I might have been able to. Figures. Couldn't even do that for the one person I keep telling myself I care deeply about.
What can I say? I'm a very charming person.
To a rock, maybe?
This is the closest we can get, I suppose. The light banter, the fleeting glances, or sometimes the long bouts of silence. It's enough for me. It's enough. For me it is. Because even without words, there's comfort. With her, it's easy.
Must be a pretty cool rock then.
Ugh, get over yourself.
I don't think he will. I don't think I want him to. He's starting to grow on me. Sadly.
Hey now, I deserve some slack here. Today's supposed to be my day off, and yet here I am helping you out.
Yes, with all sorts of illegal shit.
Helping. By standing at the door?
Well, you're not exactly letting me in.
Despite what she says, she moves to block me when I try to enter. She must have expected this the second we walked up the building's entrance and counted on the night shift guard to bar me from the place. It's reassuring to know she's somehow worried about me, although it's a bit misplaced at the moment. Besides, her concerns aside, I really can't let her get into the thick of things without me. Not with all the problems on her plate right now.
Isabella?
Seriously, Ash. Seb might get in trouble for this. You might get in even bigger trouble with your boss.
And you're not? We've already talked about this back at Zach's. It's out of the question.
At least do it for Seb, please. He's a really nice guy. With the way things are going here...
On that, I agree with her. Seb's not such a bad fellow. Might be a little careless with his job and talks too much, but he means well. I'd hate to see the guy leave here with a bad record, in case something goes wrong. However, the anxious look she shoots back at the table behind her bring an even bigger worry.
Did you find something? Aside from what you told me about yesterday?
Not yet. I'm not sure. I haven't started going through the files we have in the records room. Just the ones they handed to me in rows.
Let me see.
Wait, Ash!
Isabella, I already promised you that no one's going to get in trouble after we're done here. Even Seb. I'll make sure we leave the place clean.
Her hesitation is still there. A split second of indecision as she tries to form an argument. Eventually, when nothing comes to mind, she steps aside.
Okay, but we can't take the original files out of this office, clear? Not even a single sheet. We'll just have to make a copy.
Don't worry, that's the plan.
Better just take pictures with your phone and then delete it. That's smart, right? It appears to reassure her. A nod, then shortly she gestures for me to follow. Passing the sea of cubicles, I can't help but take in everything in their office, a force of habit for the most part. As far as I know, BRC Luxborn used to own this whole building. Offices in several floors once upon a time, when real estate is still a lucrative business for the company in this side of the country. Then, competition showed up, and suddenly, everything's not so good anymore. It's only got worse as the years went by, or so according to the rumors. Now the branch is just this floor. Despite what the huge sign in the building's facade says, and frankly, it's not hard to believe when one looks at the state of this room right now. A number of desks have been cleared out. Personal mementos are scarce as if the employees have gone on an exodus. That'll be the downsizing, probably. Still worrisome, though. Of course, I shake away all of this when Isabella starts handing me the papers she's been looking through. Focus, Frey. There's no point in whining or dwelling on any of it. Dwelling any longer on it. That's why we're here in the first place. To find out what the real deal is, the old-fashioned way. Isabella's presence is a whole other blessing, too. I couldn't imagine how long this would take if I pushed going in here alone.
Is this everything? Where are the documents you mentioned?
Still locked up in the records room. Do you need them now?
Bring them here. Everything that has to do with the mansion's sale. Even those who worked on it during the renovations. The cleanup, everything. Including your mandatory sign-in sheets.
It's an odd thing to bring up, but at least it elicits a laugh from her before she heads for the records room. She remembers. No matter how weak the sound of it is from her usual ones, it's a welcome thing to hear. It reminds me that the Isabella I know is still in there. She returns minutes later with a thick stack of folders and binders. For the next half of the hour, we work in complete silence while we dig into everything compiled in the folders. Not an easy task considering how thick the whole thing is, but there's two of us. In fact, Isabella does most of the work, sorting the contracts, the employee list, stuff we won't need into a neat pile. Just the files for the restoration alone make up a stack of papers that's an inch thick. That's a lot. Third-party service providers hired for the masonry, radiators, woodworking, plasterwork, slate roofing, and a whole bunch of other things are well documented. Hell, every single contractor who worked on the project were listed individually, even if they were just there to do the plumbing. It's a high-profile and high-cost estate, alright. But with that scope comes the loopholes. Means plenty of room to hide something in if there's something fishy going on. All I have to do is find a pattern. And it doesn't take long. On closer inspection, despite the original owners shouldering the renovation costs, it'll be surprising if they manage to break even on the Ermengarde mansion. But with the additional expenses for the open house, the commission for their agents, and the overhead fees. At one point, the negotiations to get it listed under BRC's name almost broke down too. Some disagreement about the listing price. The owners wanted to be rid of it as quickly as possible, while keeping the worth at a profitable level. BRC was insisting on a higher amount, double what the appraiser suggested. This, plus the rumor that their branch is closing? BRC Luxmorn really is in the red, and the sale of the mansion could have easily been a desperate move to keep the branch afloat.
No wonder the final sale happened as fast as it did. Did you know about this?
No. They took it off our hands after I submitted the final documents for the sale. I didn't even know until I read this. I'm not sure if Rose did. I've only been given the key to the records room after she... Anyway, my point is, they've kept all the files from me. Rose was the one who compiled everything from our side. And even then, she was probably not aware of this. There's only so much they let us know. After that, they just told us to wait for our commission, and that the legal team would handle the rest. The rumors are true.
Seems so.
Jeez, this place is just unlucky. Going bankrupt while the rest of this crap is happening. But this isn't what we're looking for. What we need is the who. The people aside from Isabella and Cooper involved in this business with the mansion. And the how they are now. So now I'm an idiot because I forgot that Rose's last name was Cooper, and that's the person that he was referencing earlier when he said we talked about Cooper's death. God, I'm an idiot. I thought it was someone I hadn't met yet. We can't do much with the outside contractors. They won't be on file. The employee list, on the other hand, even with two people working through the pile, the whole task still takes quite a while. It's a quarter of an hour later when we put down the papers with a sigh, move on to clients upon Isabella's insistence. For that, the sign-in form from the open house comes in handy. Something that gives me a laugh when I spy the fake name I wrote on the sheet. Luke and Hunter Ryder there, Richard Frank. I don't notice any other good names.
Why'd I even pick this name? It sounds so lame.
What name?
Nothing important. Just focus on those papers you have. We need to finish this soon, before Seb suspects anything.
She snatches the paper away before the thought of hiding it occurs to me. Not that there's much secret in it. Isabella found me that afternoon anyway, but still.
Ash Lee?
I've been careless that day, tailing Luke Wright without confirming where they were headed off to. While the butler's terribly efficient in keeping the Wrights' engagements from the public eye, there are other ways, if I've only given it the time of day. In retrospect, I've been too eager, too impatient to find something that'll crack the case and be done with it. Maybe my failure goes far back as the day of the open house, not during the party last night.
Yeah, well, I was pressed for time.
Seriously? Ash Lee? Were you even trying?
Oh, come on. You didn't even notice I was the one who wrote it down.
Of course I wouldn't. Only an idiot would use his real name.
It worked, though. Admit it. It's genius. Who would have thought, huh?
She responds with a roll of her eyes, then drops the matter entirely by shoving the paper back into my hands. We lapse back into our respective tasks afterwards, wordlessly skimming through everything. Read, set aside, get another one. Looking back at the sign-in sheet, I spot Luke Wright and Hannah Wright listed on top. Not that I don't know about them already, of course, but scanning through the list, the name immediately comes to my attention.
Madeline Williams.
Something wrong?
Huh? No, just that I remember this girl listed here.
She frowns, moves her seat closer, and takes a careful look at the sheet. There's a long moment before she speaks up. From the way she tenses, she appears to be expecting the worst already.
What about her?
She was with me, in the group following Cooper, when we toured the upstairs part of the mansion, I mean. Rather loud one, especially when we took a peek into the attic. Kept talking about the ghost stories the whole tour.
Then, do you? Do you think she's...
She was reported missing 3 days after.
There was a ruckus at the precinct the day her family filed it. Threats were naturally given at the lack of progress days later, desperate ones. Her family's willing to shell out all the cash they have just to find her, but to no avail, unfortunately. Officer Benjamin has been in a bad mood ever since he spoke with them, but what can he do? What can we do? He's tired. He's tied. We're all tied. There's only so much we're able to do with everything that has been shoved into our hands recently.
She still hasn't been found. It's already been a week.
Isabella makes no further comment aside from a nod. Instead, she sits back on her chair with a distant look in her eyes, her hands balling to a fist as she struggles with her frustration? Or maybe it's anger. But the moment doesn't last too long. Soon her grip loosens, and she folds her hands back on her lap. Her expression, however, it's one I've seen many times in the mirror. What does one say to a person burdened by one loss, not one loss, but many, who carries it in her shoulders like a badge of shame? I've yet to find the answer to that myself. Until then, the only way is forward, pressing on to see where our attempts at fixing our mistakes might lead us. And despite my doubts, a glimpse of that look on her face is enough reason for me. I can't just give up. There's too much at stake to lose here. With a renewed focus, I continue. On the third and last sheet, I spot another one. Beatrice Wilde, one I recall from the newspaper obituaries. Died of a heart attack. A letter of correspondence expressing condolences to her family confirms as such in her files. Passed away at age 74 in her sleep.
She's at that age. It certainly could have been a natural death.
Right? I'd like to believe so. But 3 more letters turn up when I rummage through the stack. It leaves nothing more than a foreboding feeling in me. They're all addressed to families of clients who've passed away in the past week. Regardless, these go into the pile of things worth looking into after our visit here, along with William's info sheet. There are just so many names, so many faces. Each one I've seen that day. Here I am wondering if they're all alright. And, oh geez. God, that must be terrifying. I mean, just thinking about that. Just thinking about, like, every person who was in that mansion tour with you just coming up dead. That would scare the fuck out of me. It isn't a selfless thought that brings the question to mind. Rather, it's a logic that if more of them are still alive, the more people I can choose to question. Nothing's concrete yet, of course. These are just speculations, but we're making progress. Once done with the sign-in sheets, I stash it along with the growing pile to my left and pull out as many of the other documents Isabella has already prepared for me. We're working through the employees list now, those who have been assigned to the mansion. Because if Isabella was to be believed, what she's seen and what happened to Rose Cooper is because of that letter. I need to know everyone who has possibly read it aside from the three of us. If they've been noticing strange things too. For all I know, these may just be a terrible coincidence. Although the thought of that starts to diminish as we dig into BRC's company files. 15 minutes later, the stack close to my elbow has risen from 5 to 21 different dossiers. Client and employee documentation, people who have either visited the open house or worked on the property in some capacity since the letter's discovery. Turns out, there were 2 more employees who handled the mansion directly, aside from Cooper and Isabella. Christian C., the realty specialist, and Mark Julius Jean-Marie, the estate appraiser.
This C guy, he was in custody just the other day.
Really? Sir John has been looking for him. He stopped reporting to work a few weeks ago. Are you sure it's the same person?
Oh yeah, definitely.
Yep, this is him. Folks at the precinct said they went to his house after a noise complaint. They found him just acting all crazy. Had to take him in when he started getting violent. He kept screaming about a woman.
Immediately she stiffens. I don't want to bring it up or imply a connection to Isabella's story, but that is exactly what happened.
It was driving the guards mad, but he didn't last too long in there. A few hours in, and he just started bashing his own head against the wall, and, well, it was messy, to say the least.
Oh no, we had no idea. Is he okay? HR just marked him as AWOL because none of their calls would get through.
He's in the hospital right now. I heard they're putting him into a psychiatric ward as soon as he recovers. He's still a bit unstable.
Jean-Marie, on the other hand, his employee file notes his date of leaving and when his final payment had been given. Along with it, there's a letter to his family about the appraiser being found dead in the office. Communication is hush-hush. There's mention of comparison if they don't talk about it to them, compensation if they don't talk about it to the media. Inspector Abigail has often scolded me for not reading the reports on a regular basis, but I try to keep up to date as much as I can. When I do, I'm sure I'm aware of the gist of what's going on in the city. This never reached the police's ears or the health and safety executive.
Do you know about this guy?
One glance at her says everything. They've hidden it from the media. They've kept it from the police. It's not surprising. This will also be a secret from someone of Isabella's position in the company. Fuck.
Rose was looking for him last week. We haven't heard anything from him either until now. They never mentioned this to us.
Business going under and someone dies while working here? Of course they want to keep that quiet. It's bad publicity. This whole thing is just getting freakier by the minute. Nevertheless, I hand the files for Isabel to make a copy of.
The pages with their names, addresses, and contact numbers will do. We'll start with the ones who live within the city.
Sometimes there are things you really just can't brush off as a mere coincidence. In my line of work, once a pattern pops up, it's right to be suspicious. Especially the thing with Sai. Or Sai? I'm just gonna call him Sai. It's too close to stuff my own friends have been telling me.
All of this?
It's considerably thinner than the one she brought in, yet somehow the way she hugs the folders close to her makes it seem heavier. Like she's hanging onto it in the same manner one will latch onto a lifeline.
Only the noteworthy ones.
Those that might be still alive. Might. She doesn't need to know that.
We can't check the outside contractors, but the guys with the direct connection to BRC and the people who attended the open house should be enough. We don't have time to see how everyone's doing, especially if what you said is true.
For a second, she appears to argue, then quickly decides against it and hides it away before anyone reads the question in her face. Then, in a too abrupt motion, she turns toward the copier and gets to work. Soon, only the machine's constant thrum fills the air around us, while I keep myself busy cleaning up the mess we've made. The lack of talk is awkward, to put it mildly, disturbing at worst. I've gotten used to letting her just babble away whenever it's just the two of us. I can tell, however, she wants to do more. She wants to fix this herself, and that desire makes her antsy. To confirm their suspicions, Isabella helped Ashton break into BRC's Luxborn office that night. There, the files they found revealed the real deal about the mansion's sale that was unknown even to Isabella, and possibly more terrible. Something possibly more terrible. But at the same time, she's learning how not to be impulsive or stubborn, exactly as I've told her yesterday before agreeing to any of this. Or maybe these so-called changes have always been with her. Dire situations have always pushed people to change, after all. Although seeing this happen in front of me only makes it difficult to find the proper things to say. In an atmosphere this tense and charged, what is left for us to talk about? Certainly not the news. What's worse is when you only realize all of this in hindsight, right after you've already run your mouth off.
You know, for a house your company seems to be in a hurry to sell, they still made quite a fortune out of it. Look at this. 1, 2, 3... 6. Are you sure they're planning to give your entire share for this? This isn't a small amount, especially given the usual cut. And their accounting department isn't in the greatest shape either.
Even if they don't, it's not like someone still needs it.
There's the reason why people don't let me talk. Silence once again descends throughout the room, denser compared to the ones we've shared tonight. Behind me, I can still hear her movements, sharp and precise, while she feeds the originals to the machine. Then with one last click, it all stops. Her feet shuffles lightly against the floor when she moves away. Something creaks softly, probably the table, as she settles her weight against its side. By this time, an apology is already at the tip of my tongue, but...
Belle,
Papa's gone, Ash.
With a few scant seconds, everything between us shifts as the gravity of her words sinks. Right then and there, something harsh and immovable rises between us. Death is something I'm familiar with. Almost 10 years in the police force, and it's impossible not to be acquainted with it. But this is different from those dead bodies we examine in forensics. A far cry from the victims we found on a bad investigation. Those I could easily distance myself from. No emotional attachment, no need for pretenses. Yet somehow I still find myself grasping for things to tell her. Any words of comfort that'll dull the pain. Because even without looking at her grief feels palpable enough. Her pain, an immutable weight hanging over us. Oh my god, like, look at how tiny it is for Luke. Yeah, we have a choice to make, and I know which choice I want to make. I think the best choice to make, honestly, is just to...
When?
Yep, that's better. That was good. I made a good choice.
Huh? When what?
Your dad. I mean, when did you find out?
She doesn't answer. Not immediately, anyway. For a long moment, the hush simply stretches out before us, spanning across the seconds we let pass while we both simply stand there waiting. Eventually, she exhales. Lightly, muted enough that I might have missed it, had I not been paying attention to her for her every movement.
Yesterday, around 3 in the afternoon there, Mama called. She told me he passed away in his sleep, and I guess I can take comfort in that, huh? But Papa wasn't in any pain when...
She trails off, releases another ragged breath hidden underneath her chuckles. Each one's mirthless, heavy with nothing but sorrow. Then she falters into silence, and for all my attempts at lightening her burden, I'm suddenly at a loss. Reassurances can only do so much when her only reason for staying here has suddenly been taken away from her, a hope yanked from under her feet right after it was generously given. And without that, without the one person who pushes her to endure all the shit we're going through, she's going through, means nothing but a struggle. What does one say to a person fraying at the edges, slowly wearing thin and breaking? Are words even enough? What right do I have anyway? I cannot give her anything apart from lies that change me as a person and affections she may or may not even want for herself. Because no matter how easy she has wormed herself into our lives, how immutable her presence has become, her own heart has always yearned for something else. For home.
Tell me about him.
Huh? About what?
Your dad. Tell me about him. Anything. Just talk. Say anything you want. Doesn't matter what it is. I'll listen.
Silence again. As if she's testing the weight of my question. For what purpose it is, for a reason even I can't say right now. After a while, though, she starts, reluctantly, her voice hitching, faltering, and stumbling on each syllable as she chooses her words. A rough start, but soon it steadies. And along with it, to keep company the stories from childhood and memories she's fond of, are the tears. Oh, God. Despite this, in spite of the grief choking her words off, hurt closing her throat, and the sobs racking her lithe form, she continues, like the mere act of speaking is a relief in itself. A release. She tells me of her father, the very person who named her. Her 5 names. Oh my God. I can do this. Maria, Isabella, Gracia, Cruz, Santos. Huge fucking name. 5! There are 5 words in her name. She has like 5 names, technically. Jesus. But she's awesome. How she looked up to him. How she was a bit of a tomboy growing up in her attempts to imitate him. And how the man encouraged her to pursue what she really wanted. Perhaps even the only thing she ever did for herself, having grown up not wanting anything more than food to put on their tables.
He told me I don't have to listen to them. That I can do what I want. Every day, he'd wake up at 4, Ash. Because he'd earn more that way. And every single time, he'd give them to me. Whatever extra he earned, he'd hand them all. So that I'd have something to use for my paintings. And you know what? Back home, just a good tube of paint costs almost as much as what we spend for food the whole day. But he'd always set something aside. Told me he wanted to see my paintings in a museum one day.
She pours all of it out. Every little thing she loved and admired about him. Like this, it's easy to see why she has gone to such great lengths for him. Why she abandoned her dreams. Why she went against his wishes just to grant him another chance at life. Others will say it's her warmth that draws people to her, or her cheer. Neither are wrong, but neither is the whole truth to her either. Because those who have never bothered to look beyond the surface will never see it. See her. See someone earnest. Someone who has always meant well, despite her underlying stubbornness. This is how she loves. Warm, steadfast, unflinching. You never meet people like her. Not in my line of work. Not with the kind of people I've had to deal with. You know, Ash, you don't meet people like her ever. There are very, very, very few people like Isabella in the world, and it's very sad that there are not more people like her. But I've met them. Some former co-workers of mine I know who, of course they have dreams and aspirations and everything, but in the end, one of my co-workers once told me that, if his family ever needed money, he would abandon all of his education and all of his dreams and do whatever it took to provide for his family. Like, provide for his own parents. Because sometimes people lose their jobs for reasons that aren't their fault. And you know, it's bullshit. And it sucks and I hate it. That's why we need more people like Isabella, because if there were more people like Isabella, I think that less horrible things would happen in the world. Sorry for waxing sentimental there. Whole thing is just, I'm in a somber mood now. Damn. I did not expect this in a horror game. Always with something to hide. Always with something to lie about. Eventually, when you run across too many of them, you change. You become like them. In many ways, for a lot of reasons. She's the person I want to be and be around with. Who made me feel I'm still worth something.
He didn't want me to leave. Begged. I could finish my studies first. In the end, I couldn't even grant him that one request. I'm a terrible daughter, aren't I?
No. 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 No, 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 you are not! You are a wonderful daughter, and any father would be proud of you. Sad that you didn't continue what you did, but proud of you for doing what you knew was the right thing to do. No matter how much it hurt both of you.
You're not.
Huh?
Oh, he said it! He said it! He said it! He said it!
You're not. I can't speak for your dad. I haven't even met the man. But I know you're not.
I'm not entirely sure where I'm going with this. How do you not know where you're going with this? It's obvious where you're going with this. The remark just came out. Now I'm stringing all these together as I go. One thing is certain. None of what I'm about to say is a lie.
The Isabella I know is a total klutz, but I've never seen anyone work as hard as she does. She's the type who wears her heart on her sleeve. Though it's not necessarily a bad thing. It's always in the right place. She's intimidated by a lot of stuff, but she knows how to appreciate the smallest things in life. Frankly, you've caused us no small amount of trouble since you barged into our lives. But when I'm with you, all of my worries seem trivial.
Heat has already crept up my face when the turn this whole thing is about to take registers. Before I blurt the rest, declare my feelings I'm not even ready to reveal to anyone, much less her, my hand comes up to mother the rest of it. Though embarrassment quickly takes the reins before I can completely clamp my mouth shut.
And I'm pretty sure Zach and Becca think the same way. You have a nasty way of growing on people like that, and And you know what? We got everything we needed in here. I'll just wipe the security recordings and we're good to go.
Good!
While I'm at it, you better wipe the snot off your face. And you don't look very nice when you're balding like that.
Hastily, I gather everything. The personal files, client documents, sales agreements, and contracts. Anything my hands can reach. While gathering what they found, Ashton accidentally brought up Isabella's father, who had apparently passed away the day before. Suddenly, her reasons for trying to fix this mess become clear to him. In his attempt to comfort her, he ended up almost admitting something he's not ready to put into words yet. In record time, all of it has been stacked in a neat pile, ready for storage. I'm heading for the records room not a few seconds later. Whatever that is. Wherever that is, he doesn't know. It should be easy to find unless this place is a maze of some sort, which I highly doubt. You should never question that. Still beats trying to stay here and seeing the look on her face. Crap. Really, her anger is still bearable. I can take that, including the glowing she sends my way.
So, yeah, I'll go get the security videos and put these back where you pulled them from. Man, these are heavy, you know?
Ash, it's just paper. You don't even know where I...
Oh, no, I can handle this.
Jesus!
Easy as pie. And, yeah, security cams, tapes, videos, cams.
Dude, you're unraveling. We need you to not unravel right now.
Yeah, I'm off.
Her rejection at this point? Maybe. Maybe not yet. And the files back to the BRC's archived room is a cinch. With the documents back in their proper place, I locked the door behind me, tugging it twice just to make sure. Now, on to the next order of business. Remove the evidence of our little excursion here, or at the very least, the parts showing what we've been doing during the past hour. Can't have our faces plastered on security footage, showing us breaking the law, as it were. Gonna have to wipe the data for Isabella's access entries, too. Surprisingly, I find their security room proves a breeze. What will be tricky is getting inside. The fact that no one has walked out during the whole time we've been here means the room is either empty or their security sound asleep. I'm banking on the former. If they're cutting corners and firing agents, I have no doubt they've fired the guy stationed here, if they have anyone watching the monitors in the first place. It's a rather common thing for establishments. Just leave security recordings indefinitely and only check the footage if something actually happens. Just to check, I press my ear against the door, listening for a sign of anyone occupying the room. After a minute of nothing, I give the knob a few rattles.
Standard lock and key. Should be easy enough to pick.
You go for it, Ash. We have lockpicks set, but those are only used if necessary and with a search warrant. Even then, it's a skill set rarely needed. Subtlety isn't on a cop's priority if they have authority to search the premises. Bolt cutters and brute force are the favored methods. If those fail, we call a locksmith. Me, I prefer the good old hairpin trick when these options aren't available. Besides, they're easy to hide and store for emergencies. Run my hand through my hair, I pull a pair of bobby pins. 2 of these, and I can just about open any standard lock. One makes a lever, and the other makes a handle. I won't call it a complex skill, but it certainly takes time and a lot of practice to successfully pick a lock. Good thing I practiced with them for a bit in my college years. I learned more when they're accessible in standard issue for a law enforcement officer. A wiggle here, a click there. I managed to seize all the pins in the locking mechanism soon enough. With a slight turn of the knob, the security room's ripe for the picking. Oh no! Oh no! The odor hits me first, a sharp, nauseating stench as if someone has accidentally spilled a gallon of bleach in the room. When was the last time they opened this place?
Ugh, this place smells awful. Jesus, it's worse than the forensics lab on a bad day.
Oh god, this is probably because of a badly botched effort to clean the place. Even in the dark, I can spy dark stains on the walls! Oh, I don't really have time to try and play in this ketchup or soda right now. But I have a strange gut feeling who the mess might belong to. As expected, no security personnel mans the office's CCTV controls, and the standalone DVR setup is open for anyone. Normally, I'd have a heap of things to say about this sloppy security setup, but right now their negligence makes the whole task of erasing evidence easier.
No fuss, no muss.
Next one should be the access card. Hopefully getting into their computer won't be too much of a hassle. Everything up till now has been smooth sailing. There have been hiccups. I'll give it that. Though it does nothing to dampen the mood I'm in. I once shift my attention to the machine sitting next to the DVR setup, and all of it swiftly evaporates. I'm no computer buff, but I can definitely recognize one more than a decade old. Simply looking at this one makes me feel younger. With a heavy sigh, I power it up and mentally prepare myself for a slow slug. Slow, apparently, remains an understatement here. It takes a whole 3 minutes for a thing to start up. The OS hasn't even started loading, and in my boredom, I started inspecting the live feeds from the cams. Only two works. One from the view outside. The other seems to be everything seems to be in order. And the other for main work space, where it's a fleeting glimpse, cursory glance, but the sight of it stops me. The image is a bit blurry, but standing there, right in the middle of the room by one of the cubicles, I can make out the form of...
What the hell is...
Don't get too far into that line of thought. A few seconds after my words have slipped out without any sort of warning while I'm trying to make any sense of what it is. The figure moves! Oh, fuck nuggets! Oh no! A moment of paralysis hits me when she stops right in front of the camera like a damn rookie. I go still in the face of danger. Definitely haven't been trained to handle the supernatural, and this is one, isn't it? And... oh, fuck! Her eyes bore into me, the malice in them piercing. Even beyond the screen, it's enough to make me go numb. Only the mug crashes to the floor. When my hand accidentally takes a swipe at it, snaps me out of the trance, reminding me I'm not the only one here! Isabella! It seems she hasn't noticed anything. I'm not the only one seeing this. In any case, whatever's happening, I have to get her out! Gathering my wits, I reach for my phone. It takes all but 2 seconds before she answers, but there's no time for relief.
Ashton? Did you really have to call? We're practically on the same floor.
Get out of there.
What? What are you...
Out. Get out. I'll meet you in the elevator.
You're creeping me out, Ash.
Just get yourself out of that place, now!
Bad things are there! Ghost lady! Run! That's all you have to say! Without a second thought, I back away from the controls, from the room, ready to be done with this place. But before my foot even moves, she disappears.
Son of a...
Ah! Oh, that fucking spooked me! Instinct instantly takes over, and my hand quickly reaches for the gun at my side, only to meet empty air. A mistake that cost me a few precious seconds while the paperwork I brought with me threatens to scatter everywhere at the same time. Gathering everything and myself at once, with no weapon to protect myself, my sense of self-preservation kicks in and I lunge toward the door. Sprint across the office without daring to look back. Isabella's already waiting in front of the elevator by the time I make it out of their office. Worry creases her eyebrows upon glancing at me, but I don't have time to answer the question in her eyes. As soon as I reach her, I grab her and practically throw the two of us into the open elevator and slam the button for the ground floor. A sigh of relief escapes me when the elevator starts its descent. The clicking noise fades off into the distance. Thank fucking Christ. Beside me, Isabella shifts, moving the stack of papers under her arm while she takes in my appearance. Concerns in her eyes, though all I offer her is a small gesture of my hand while I attempt to compose myself. Breathe! Breathe! In and out.
Why are we in such a hurry?
Ghost lady!
We need to get out of this place. Did you get everything?
Yeah, it's all here. But really, you don't look too good. What's wrong, Ash?
He saw the thing!
I'll be fine. I was in the security room. From the monitors, there was a fucking...
What I'm about to say dies on my tongue when the elevator stops and the doors open too. There's a moment's pause while we both take in our surroundings, confusions understandably there.
Oh, come on! They should just replace this whole thing!
No, I'm quite sure I pressed for the ground floor.
Right? But it's just as Isabella said, the elevators always did have problems when I visited in the past. Often she becomes so angry when we try to get to her floor, she'll have to repeatedly mash the button for the elevator to even move. That was always good for a laugh. I wasn't too worried then. Now? Oh, fuck a duck! From the distance, beyond the light's reach, the noise echoes in my ears, along with the rapid pounding in my chest. Isabella stiffens and her eyes grow wide at the sound. Gingerly, she reaches up to grab the hem of my sleeve and grips it hard, tight enough for her fingernails to dig in. Her eyes search wildly for the source of the noise, while I stand protectively in front of her.
Ash, did you hear that?
Anyone there?
Why did you not... He didn't have his gun with him! Why did you not bring your gun with him, dude?
I can hear you moving from here. Show yourself.
No response. No response. Only the sound of something scurrying around the floor, and the walls in slow, deliberate movements, faint though still audible enough in the hush. Until it stops. Oh my god, no! Oh no 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 no. A moment.
We need to go, Ash. We have to.
And then, this time I'm certain it isn't my imagination. Against my training, my whole body freezes. Why? My hands still pressing the button. Still mid-pressing the button. Eyes grow wild while waiting for any sort of movement from further back. An ear strained for the source of the sound. I can't even offer Isabella any reassurances. Much as I hate to admit it, dread has seeped into every nerve in my body. The blasted elevator still won't work.
This isn't in my fucking training manual.
Ash, we need to leave. I know that sound. Ash, please, get the elevator.
Another series of shuffling against the ground, laughter, and all of a sudden she's just there! Oh my god, I see her! She's right fucking there! Like a twisted spider, she stares at us, a look of hunger in her eyes and venom in the twisted manner she smiles. A glee she has well earned. When we're damn flies that have dropped right onto the spider's web.
Ashton!
Damn it!
Without warning, she moves, mocking me with each unhurried crawl she takes, knowing I'm at her mercy.
Fucking hell!
Ashton, the door! The door!
Our lives are on the Rhine, with this crummy elevator literally hanging between life and death. We're not gonna die here. Not in a damn elevator! There are better places to die! Wait, 8? Wait, 8 what? 8 what? 2, 3, 7, 9, 6. Okay. 8, 2, 6, 9, 3. I'm dead. I'm just gonna die. Sorry, guys. I'm sorry, but like... It wouldn't accept my fucking number pad. I have a number pad on my computer, and I'm so quick with that, but I'm not quick with the regular numbers. Okay, here we go. I got it this time. Okay, 3, 1, 7, 8, 9. 9, 2, 1, 7, 6. 4, 9, 8. 6, 1, 3, 4, 2. I can't make it. I cannot type fast enough without my fucking keypad. Let me use my goddamn keypad, you son of a bitch. God damn it. I'm not kidding you. My hands cannot type fast enough on the top keys. Why is it the top keys and not the fucking number pad that I always use? I'm gonna do my best here. I'm gonna fail this a bunch of times, but I got this. 8, 6, 3, 9, 2, 9, 8, 3, 4, 4, 1. Okay, 1, 5, 6, 3. Okay. 8, 5, 7, 4, 2. Okay, god damn it! I'm gonna die again. Oh, that's not enough. Damn it. I gotta do this. I gotta do this so many times, and god, I hate these fucking numbers. 7, 3, 5, 1. Okay, god damn it! I got so fucking close! It's not even. Oh god, it's not even scary anymore, it's just anger-inducing. 1, 2, 1, 6, 5. 1, 5, 1, 3, 4. Hey, I think I got it this time! Beast mode! Oh god, I unlocked beast mode. Oh god, that is such bullshit though. The fucking, why couldn't I use my goddamn number pad? I have a, it is annoying that I actually have a keyboard that has a fucking number pad, and dude, numbers on there, with one hand, I can do it fucking instantly. But when it's at the top, the numbers on top of my keyboard, I am fucking slow as shit. God, I failed like 4 or 5 times. Pisses me off. As if a divine power has heard me swearing up a storm in my head, the doors close just as the thing looms near. Soon the elevator, the blasted thing, is headed up. Isabella's knees buckle in relief. In 2 ticks, she's hugging herself without a care for the mess of papers and folders she has dropped on the floor in her panic. She draws in one ragged breath after another, each one brimming with nothing but relief. And this is the most I've been tired my whole damn life. During my training, when my superior first asked me to drop 100, not after a stakeout. After smashing a fucking elevator button repeatedly, why couldn't I just hit the keyboard or something? I slumped to the ground beside her, worn out. But I don't let myself feel relief again. Not until we're out of here. Isabella seems to be of the same mind as she looks to me. Still, I find myself shaking a shaky laugh with her.
We're okay. We're fine. Right?
Yeah, we're good. Alive. Fuck, we should have taken the goddamn stairs.
You never know. Maybe the stairs would have been worse. Twice I've seen it. Thrice if I include the party. As I'm tripping balls without realizing it, there's no doubt in my mind that there's something actually happening. I don't want to believe it. But with the truth staring me in the face, it'll be stupidity to deny the reality of the matter. Oh boy. Oh boy. Ashton and Isabella beat a quick exit after getting what they needed, making sure not to leave evidence of their break-in. On their way out, however, the elevator malfunctioned and dropped them in the building's basement parking instead, where a familiar face welcomed them. Jesus. As soon as the lift hits the ground floor, we hightail out of the building. Seb's sound asleep when we pass by his station. However, in the face of what we've seen, everything I've faced tonight, we don't really care less who sees us on our way out. The sooner we get away from this place, the farther the better. I'm just not sure if it also means being safe. She almost got us, damn it. The fucking thing almost had us. And technically, in a bunch of different realities, she did have you because I have to put the fucking keys not on my number pad. God damn it, this is annoying. I'm still upset about that. Yes, I'm still upset about the fucking fact that I had to use the top buttons, which I am not good at, instead of my fucking number pad. I bought it for stuff like this. Shit, it was only by luck we managed to get the fucking elevator unstuck. The blasted thing not worked in the last second. I need some air. Fresh, breathable air that just doesn't stink like death and gore all at once. I'm panicking. Christ, losing focus. With another person here, I can't afford that right now. Isabella hasn't said anything, but I know she's more shaken than I am. Can't lose it when another person's depending on me.
Remember your training, Frey.
Another deep breath, and soon I'm starting the engines and driving us off. After that little incident, somewhere open would be good. Someplace I won't get trapped. Luxbourne Park brings welcome relief, though only by some. The chill that has seeped into my bones is still there, furling and unfurling underneath my skin. If I don't move, if I don't busy myself with anything, soon my brain will go haywire. It's the last thing I want to happen when there's plenty of things to do. But this already answers all of it, doesn't it? The deaths? How many copies of the letter are out there? Isabella can't have the only one if other people are also getting cursed. Could it be the one she's shown us is just one of 5? Maybe even more? That whole pass this to 5 people business is ridiculous, but at this point, is it still? All in all, we found 21 people who might have read the letter. 7 of them deceased. 8 if we count Cooper. That's only what we can find right now. We have no idea how the contractors and specialists hired from outside the company are doing. If we are in any way affected. How many more people are suffering? How many are missing? How many are dead? I can still blame the Wrights for this? Or can I still blame the Wrights for this? If anything, they might be in danger as well. I don't think I can wish a curse upon anyone, no matter how big of a douchebag Luke Wright is. There's also that woman. How do we get out of this mess? How do we get away from her? Shit. Still so many things we need to look into. Yet, all my body wants to do is pace, burn out whatever excess energy there is in me.
Ashton, I'm getting dizzy. Will you sit down?
It's the first time Isabella said anything. She's been sitting quietly since we dropped here. Better and less distressing than watching her nervous habits, I suppose. She certainly seems calm now. Too calm, in fact, for someone has just seen something terrible. But it's been more than a week for her already. People get desensitized to things at some point. Even someone like Isabella, who knows what's going on inside her head, though. Inside mine, there are too many, and none of them would sit still.
I'm not going crazy, am I? I saw that. I'm pretty sure I saw that. I didn't inhale anything weird. Just shit. Shit. Isabella, please tell me that wasn't...
What I'm not expecting when I turn to her is mirth, one that she could barely contain.
You're laughing. Why are you laughing?
I'm not quite sure what she sees on my face, but in the next second, a laugh suddenly bursts out from her. Oh, God damn it, another line that wasn't recorded. I'm so sorry. It's just that you should have seen the look on your face back there. And a line from him that's not voiced. What the crap? Yeah, right, sure. I'm not the one who panicked. You almost ripped my arm off. Yeah, but... Is this an entire section that's not voiced? This sucks. Isabella, this isn't funny. The woman almost got us. We could have ended up dead.
I know, I'm really sorry. But this is just too precious to miss. You really lost your shit for a moment there.
You're trying to get back at me, aren't you?
Well, I'm not the one who kept calling someone scaredy cat for years. How does it feel?
I'm not scared.
Really? Because it doesn't seem that way to me. At all.
I'm not, all right? I just don't know what to do right now.
Immediately after the moment passes, replaced by another tense silence. Laughter dies in her lips as everything sinks in. We're in deep shit, and it has finally caught up and hit us like a ton of bricks. Hit me more than anyone. Because she has been warning us of this since day one. I'm the first person who brushed it off. Despite that, she still reaches out to me, tugging at my sleeve almost desperately. Her hands are trembling, and there's a tremor in her voice when she speaks. Without the cheer, only fear remains. One that she has been burdened with from the beginning.
We're still going to do something about it, right?
Yeah, we're not just gonna wait for death.
Not just stand around and let that thing get us.
Unexpectedly, she leans her forehead against my arm. Her grip on my sleeve tightens. There's a desperation in there. Quiet plea.
Don't want to lose anyone anymore, Ash.
I wish I could give her that promise. But with so many unknowns, so many things I don't understand about this, how could I? Why she still trusts that I can do something about this baffles me. It all feels wholly undeserved, considering the way I've treated her. Yet, despite my reluctance, I find myself returning her hold in kind. A grasp, warm and light enough for comfort. Not a promise, but the closest thing to it. Oh God, where are we? Where are we? Where are we? Darkness blurs the edges of my vision. Black tendrils twist and coil around my limbs. Soft footfalls echo from the far distance, scurrying, scampering, moving in an odd rhythm with the sharp, piercing notes of her laughter. The scream threatens to burst, but my throat closes off. Ever so slowly, a chill seeps into every nerve in my body, washing away every sensation in me apart from one. There is only fear. Once again, her laughter echoes, a sound both bitter and unforgiving. It is the last thing I hear before she reaches me. The ground trembles. The world slows to a stop. Morning breaks in a blurry mess of vivid shapes and colors. Oddly, there's no feeling of terror or confusion gripping me, despite the vague images that has driven me from sleep. Awareness kicks in shortly, though slow and sluggish, as I blink away the remnants of unconsciousness from my eyes. The early morning light already streams from the open windows when the memory sets in and the room finally comes into focus. Isabella's apartment. Pushing myself upright, my eyes wander idly to her prone form. She's hunched over the coffee table, both arms under her head while she continues to rest. Then, to the chaos of papers and folders we've left scattered over it, before sleep has claimed both of us. We bunkered down here last night. Either both our nerves have calmed down, mine for the most part. Staying together was an unspoken invitation. And anyway, I'm pretty sure neither of us wants to remain alone when there's that woman. Is she still one in the first place? One that we'd normally call a human? Can it still feel guilty? Does it understand pain?
Fuck, I'd rather get charged for breaking and entering than mess with whatever that thing was any day.
Not that thinking about it still matters when our lives are in her hands. She's dangerous. If we don't know anything about her, this curse will definitely be pushing daisies soon. I can't let that happen. I've dallied on this long enough. Left all of my friends in harm's way after the warnings they've all given me. Besides, beneath the tyranny adrenaline that keeps me running, knowing what lies ahead for Isabella makes it hard not to take action. The paper sitting on the edge of the table calls my attention. At this, light against my hand when I reach it. It has caught my eye the night before, but with the lot we still need to go through, I simply ignored it. The logo emblazoned on the top of the page, however, provides this paper a whole new meaning. Not for me, but definitely for her.
A scholarship grant, huh?
I've only ever heard her talk about this once or twice, completing her degree, that is. She rarely goes about it in great detail, preferring to keep it to herself. Perhaps it's the fact she thinks she's already too old to be chasing after it. Dude, I know people that are in their, 70s that went back to finish, a degree, so no, I don't know why people think that shit. It's been 5 years, after all, but I've caught up snippets of conversations between her and Zach to know she has already given up on it. Despite how things have panned out with her father, she's one step closer to this part of her life. As silly as it may sound coming from a friend, I'd like to give her the chance to have this. Whether this means stepping out of my comfort zone and figuring what the deal with the curse is, I'll do so. if only to see the same smile on her from that time again. These days, the only moment she seems to show it is when she's asleep, like right now, no matter how uncomfortable she appears. A smile of my own forms, despite this, when I glance at her sleeping form again. She hasn't moved since, her shoulders rising and falling in a slow, even rhythm with her breathing. You wouldn't think she has a problem. You wouldn't think she has problems this way.
If only that were true.
Sighing, I place the paper back where I've gotten it, carefully so I won't accidentally wrinkle or damage it in some way, and finally push myself off my makeshift bed. Isabella shifts when I carry her off from the floor and over to her bed, but doesn't wake. Simply tucks herself comfortably under the cover as I pull over her. Briefly, though, she mumbles something to herself and draws in another breath.
Becca, Ashton's being dumb again.
She drifts back to a deeper state of sleep after, like it hasn't been interrupted by the slightest movement earlier, but the small smile on her lips remain. When I find myself returning in kind.
Who sleeps like a rock now?
It's better this way. Better to leave her to her dreams for the moment, which I hope are better than the ones I've had. She'll have time to worry about our problems later when she wakes up. For now, this will be another thing I don't want to take away from her. A moment of respite, no matter how fleeting. She deserves it after everything she's been put through, what I've put her through. In the meantime, I still have 2 other people I need to check with. Isabella will definitely get in a tizzy if I don't check in on them. Cold Luxburn air meets me upon stepping out the hallway. Not unusual in itself. This is what Luxburn's weather is supposed to be. A bit cold, damp for the most part, and more often than not, terribly drab with an unusual sprinkling of rain every few hours. The sky's still clear, but I'll give it a day or two before the weather takes a turn for the worse. I've complained about the awful rains for years, despite having lived here my entire life. I have to admit, though, seeing it return to the usual feels extremely reassuring. At least something's still normal in the world, and I can no longer think the same for the situation we're in. A nightmare, that's probably all this is. Usually I'll say, I've been through worse. But that's simply another lie I would have told myself, isn't it? And I fed myself a great deal of lies throughout the years, just so I won't have to think about it the next day. Maybe we won't even have this problem. If I haven't been running away and ignoring things, hiding them someplace no one will see, because I've since believed doing so is a show of weakness.
The fuck do I know about ghosts, though?
What does Zach? What does Rebecca? Seaman has mentioned dreaming about a woman. Whether it's the same one we've been seeing, I've yet to ask. Bottom line, he likely knows as much about this as I do. Now Rebecca's probably in the same boat, grasping for anything that might provide an answer, a way out of all this. What can any of us do when all of us lacks an understanding of what's happening? One thing's clear about this, however. That thing is after us because of the letter. Both Rebecca and Zach have seen it too. She will go after them as well. Yet here I am, walking up Becca's door, one slow step at a time, a stalling tactic to allow myself some time to put the mess in my head into a better order. How to phrase this when there's a 90% chance she's still pissed about a whole different matter. It's the only reason we didn't check on her last night, aside from the ungodly hour Isabella and I arrived. We'll only alarm her by showing up at her home in the middle of the night, acting like babbling lunatics. And her anger can last quite a while. These days, seems the only one she can easily forgive is Isabella, but even with her, Becca's fuming still takes hours. I run my hand through my hair and straighten out my jacket before knocking. Once, twice, and 3 times just to be sure she's She has heard me, even if she's asleep. She's usually awake by now.
Hey, Becca, it's Ash. Open up. Don't tell me you're still in bed.
Seconds tick by. No answer from her, and dread has started to creep up. I've been trained to handle dire situations, but the feeling has been doing that quite frequently since last night. My mind begins to anticipate the worst, and in the next minute concern has mixed in with my thoughts, and I bang my fist on the door, louder this time. She'll definitely be livid, but I'd rather face her wrath than a dead body.
Becca, it's Ash. There's something we need to talk about right away. Open up, I know you're...
Your girlfriend left early this morning, pretty boy. So if you could do us a bloody favor and shut up, that'd be real fucking polite.
My hand pauses short of landing another heavy knock. From the other unit, Rebecca's other neighbor peeks through his door, though I see nothing but a bundle of blankets. I'll say they need help from being devoured by their sheets, but it sounds like he's just fine. He's a huge asshole, too. Course of action, so people like him won't ruin your day. Act like the nicest person on the planet. Has done me wonders when I was a rookie patrolling the streets. No need to match his temper.
Oh, did she say where she was going?
I don't know. She said something about meeting someone or something, in case Filipina girl over there asks. Well, what am I, her keeper? You know, some people want to sleep in on a bloody Sunday, so keep it down. Just looking forward to this weekend. Thanks, you damn git.
Well, there's no need to be an ass about it. I'll get out of your...
He slams his door shut without warning, not before muttering a string of colorful words about me. Probably thinks I won't hear him inside the four walls of his apartment.
Jerk.
And at the end of it, a sigh. So Rebecca's not here. Must have missed her by an hour or so. At least she's not alone. She should be safe, in theory. More so, if the person she's meeting with is who I am thinking. Nevertheless, I still can't help but worry. It's an easy thing continuing down increasingly darker lines of thought. To act rashly, to find out where she is and go straight there without deliberating on my actions first. There's Zach to boot. Rebecca's not alone, but I can't say the same for the big guy. A phone call to both of them should do the trick. It leaves my nerves at any rate. Better than rushing over to Zach's place or assuming Becca's whereabouts and finding out they're not where I've guessed they should be. Assuming worst comes to next, which I'd rather avoid this early. Any other reason, I wouldn't bother them, but an emergency begs for urgency. This is one, right? Even if it isn't, anxiety from concern dulls judgment. Something I most certainly can't afford to lose at any given time, especially right now. Any means to calm it will do wonders for the muddled mess my mind is already in. Oh, close friends and then others. I don't know who Abigail is. Obviously not important. Probably a work colleague or something. There's no actual picture. Pulling up my phone, I thumb through the screen until it ends up on a group with only Zach's, Rebecca's, and Isabella's numbers listed. Other people will probably say I keep too few friends when they chance upon this. To some extent, it's true. I can easily name about 100 people I've been acquainted with throughout the years. Colleagues, blockmates from uni, neighbors, those sort of people. They all come and go. But these three have chosen to stay for some reason, without wanting or asking for anything. Unlike the others, none has Zach's kindness, Rebecca's patience, nor the sincerity in Isabella's eyes. One day, these guys are just there. The next thing I know, being with them eases it. That heavy, somber feeling lingers in the air when you stand alone in your apartment, or something as simple as spending your day off without anyone. I'll say it's loneliness, but this carries much more depth than that. If I can help it, I don't want to lose any of them to some stupid curse. A phone call may be the least comforting thing at the moment. Honestly, I prefer being in the same room with them right now, but I'll take what I can get. Becca first. She'll get angry at me for worrying about her. She isn't some helpless damsel in distress, after all. After knowing what happened to her, no, she isn't, but still... she isn't the shy little girl I knew when we were children. We're already far from the people we were back then, but that's more than enough reason to check in on her. I don't have to imagine her taking anything head on. She'll do it, instead of asking for help when she needs it. I don't care if she gets mad at me, if only to know that she's fine. A ring. In the silence of the hallway, sound alone might have been sharp enough to pierce through my ears. Another second passes. 2, 3. And on the ninth thing, I go straight to her voicemail. A cold feeling instantly lodges in my stomach.
Rebecca Gales here. You've reached my voicemail. Sorry if I can't get to you right now. Oh, and if this is Isabella, yes, you're free to reheat the food in my fridge. Otherwise, leave a message.
Probably just busy, that's all. Though I still barely manage to keep my voice even when I speak.
Hey, Becca, call me back when you're free. We need to talk. ASAP.
Becca will be alright. Is alright. I know she is. She's safe. She's with someone else. I know she is. I took care of her first, and I know Zach's good. It's Marianne that I'm still worried about, because she was locked downstairs, and then we went away, and I don't know what's going on, and I don't like it. In the event that woman shows up, she'll have someone with her, someone she'll be able to ask for help. She's safe. She can handle herself. Becca might have a fiery temper, but she knows when she's faced with something she can't handle herself. She also knows how to use a good book. Rebecca will see my missed call, and she'll call me back. Though I don't express it enough, Rebecca is someone I consider important to me. She'd been my friend for the longest time, and everybody else would have been fed up with me and left. The girl stuck by me, no matter how big of a jerk I've been. There's Zach and Isabella now, too, of course. I've always been thankful for having them around. The worst times before, however, Becca was there. No one believes it when I say it, but I've surely had my awful moments as a bratty kid and as a horrible teen. Issues. I've too many of them to count and refuse to deal with for a time. At least that's what Andrew likes to tell me. I tend to think nothing of it. It has mellowed down over the years, thanks to the professor mostly. But at times, I do wonder if it still burdens me the way it did all those years ago. After all, I was terrible, especially around the time of my parents' separation. Looking back at it now, I have no reason to direct all that frustration towards everyone else. While I wasn't a kid who lashed out at anyone, preferring to keep it to myself and turning those negative feelings into something more productive. I've grown distant from a lot of people because of it, from my old friends back in my old school and the neighbors I've hung out with before moving. A habit I've likely brought with me into adulthood. I was just so angry with everyone and everything. All I kept thinking about was myself, wondering why me. In retrospect, I was selfish. Little bastard who thought the world revolved around him. I think everyone who goes through a divorce goes through that phase. All children of divorce, I should say. We go through that why me phase, but I mean, like, I tried not to take it out on other people. I actively did my best to not do that because, I knew that it wasn't their fault. It's a hard thing, though. This game is reminding me so much of myself in so many ways, as a good, story should. That I shouldn't have been going through it. I believed my behaviors was entitled, that I had the right. Tough times, but she stuck with me. Snapped me out of my little sulk, as she often phrases it, whenever she sees the chance to bring it up. She didn't tolerate my bullshit, but she didn't leave me alone either. If anything, the whole thing made her stick around. Her concern may have grown a bit overbearing as the years went by, but she's still an old friend nevertheless. I owe her a lot. That won't change.
Damn it. Where are you, Becca?
Another message left on her voicemail. Then on my third call, I hang up. For the time being, I can't do anything more than to wait for her to return my calls, Worrying aimlessly won't get me anywhere. Zach, on the other hand, that guy attracts trouble no matter how much he tries to avoid it. Doesn't help how he's been too hot lately with a lot of people. I mean, you're not wrong. He is ridiculously attractive. Here's the thing. I'm a straight man, and even I'm like, damn, he's a fine catch. His mention of plans yesterday didn't sit too well with me either. He might be the next irresponsible adult after Rebecca out of the four of us, but I still gotta check on the big guy. Make sure he's doing okay at the very least, whatever he has planned on doing. All I'm asking is for it not to be idiotic. He's a sensible guy, I'm sure. However, desperation clings and pushes people to do things. Rational or irrational, it doesn't matter. Clear thinking flies out the window the moment you're in danger, and I sincerely hope he has not found himself in a tricky situation. His phone doesn't even ring before he answers, or his voicemail at least.
Hey, it's Zach. Well, a voicemail anyway. I'll get back to you as soon as I can. So, just leave a message, yeah? And no, Ash, you're not allowed to lockpick your way into my apartment again. Just do what any other decent human being does and call if I'm not around. Thanks.
Did he turn it off? Why? I don't want to assume the worst yet. Maybe he has forgotten to change it? Charge it? Can't be. The guy can be a bit of a Boy Scout, even more than I am as a cop. He's the type who has an extra battery or a power bank in his bag if he ever needs it. And he always does. He won't say anything or brag about it, but he's got quite a roster of VIP freelance clients. He won't just leave his phone dead in case he's on the field, particularly when people will likely be looking for him. He always leaves his connection open whenever clients or his friends need him. Zach is reliable like that.
Why isn't anyone answering?
His mobile in an out-of-range area sounds more plausible, although the thought of it doesn't completely shake off the unease. Unlike Rebecca and I, he took the time to listen to what Isabella said. Even if he doesn't want to believe it, he was definitely the first one to offer help or try to do something. If he ends up in trouble doing whatever he's doing, so help me, I'm going to... Well, I can't be rash. I'm aware of that. Been running the same reminder in my head since last night. But if something happens, I'm certain my reaction won't be pretty.
Yo, Zach, call me back, alright? I wanted to check in and, yeah, just please call me back.
It's usually a joke between us when I say he's the Watson to my Sherlock. I don't see him as some assistant to put aside until he's needed, like some people like to believe, though. He's not some pity friend I keep around to make myself look good.
If anything, he's the one who stayed by me out of pity.
Like the one who puts up with me most of the time, even when he doesn't need to. It's not a case of cool cop who helped out a minority. In truth, I was a hard-headed, hot-tempered, unreliable rookie up until I met him. It wasn't anything sudden. Some part of me is still a rookie. But I've grown, thanks to him. He tempers that part of me. Considering how our first impressions went, I'm lucky he stuck around. Becca and I may have spent a lot of years together as children, but Zach, he's probably the closest thing I'll call to a best friend. Oh, it's more than that. A camaraderie no words can express. He has my back, and I'll always have his. He's a brother I've never had the luck of ever having. Only child and all that.
And I have every reason to worry about my brother.
Becca's neighbor did say she went out with someone. No specific names. If I'm wrong and she's not with Professor Clark, then maybe it's with Zach. They've never been close, but it's not the kind of awkward friendship where meeting together remains out of the question. Regardless, I continued dialing for his phone after 3 times, like I've done with Becca's. In the end, after the 3rd attempt with no one answering, I stopped and moved to cut the call with a ragged exhale.
Waiting game it is, then.
I've been trained for these. Hell, I'm used to them. Just not when it comes to people I'm close to. As much as I keep reminding myself to keep a level head, it's a whole different matter when it's someone you know. Personal feelings will likely get involved at some point. Starting now, actually, with the anxious strings coiling and uncoiling, causing a racket inside my stomach. That's exactly when the line finally connects. Before he even speaks, my question has already slipped out, including every pent-up worry and tension in my body.
Where are you?
The line's choppy, though. Though I can still make out the words he's saying. Nothing to worry about, then. It's just someplace where network coverage is shitty. Can't imagine where at this time of morning, though. Did he go out for a jog?
What was that, Ash? Could you repeat that? Signal shitty here.
I asked, where are you? Hell, Zach, I've been calling your number for a good 20 minutes now. What kind of shithole did you get into?
I've meant that to sound as friendly as possible, to keep things light at least. Instead, only the frustration shows in my tone.
Good morning to you, too. I should be asking you that question. I've been looking all over the mansion for you. I thought you'd be...
What mansion?
Do I really need to answer that?
Why are you even...
Please don't tell me that's his plan. A morning visit to the mansion where Luke Wright is. Of all the pig-headed things to do right now, it's the best thing he can come up with. Breaking and entering. I've got plenty of reasons to rail at him right now. Although, no matter how much I want to give him a piece of my mind, unfortunately, it's not the time.
No, wait. Just get your ass to Isabella's place and hurry.
He pauses for a moment, a second of indecision while he seems to contemplate his options.
How urgent is this?
In truth, the question, the hesitance, and the indecision in his voice has caught me completely off guard, and understanding dawns on me. His decision to go there isn't born out of a stupid impulse. He must have found something. However, no matter how urgent it is, he still shouldn't have gone there, alone at that. Despite myself, in the split second of comprehension, I allow it to show. A weakness. A simple request brimming with every unease and disquiet causing turmoil within me since last night. Bears a selfish hope that he'll understand, even through the unstable signal, or whatever's keeping him there, he will be willing to set it aside for now.
Pressing enough for you to stop asking questions and get yourself here. Please, Zach.
Silence fills the other end of the line again. For a long moment, I assume he won't heed it, and I'll have to drive there myself just to drag him away from whatever danger he's skirting. Thankfully, he agrees.
I'll be there in a few. An hour or two tops.
Thanks. I'll see you.
Relief washes over me as soon as the call ends. Ooh, boy. After that close call, Ashton spends the night at Isabella's, only to be kept awake by nightmares. At an utter loss, and with all his beliefs overturned, Ashton decided to check on Zachary and Rebecca. Unfortunately, only Zachary returned his calls. Normally, I don't let myself a moment's respite in times like this. Gotta stay alert. Rebecca's still out there. Has yet to return any of my messages. But for the moment, I relish in it. This is probably the first time I've permitted myself to do so since last night. Even the muscles in my shoulders have been complaining from all the tension I've taken on. It still annoys me that all I can do right now is grit my teeth and trudge back to Isabella's apartment. Useless. That's what I am in the face of this. A mad dash around Luxborn and Anselm isn't going to help things. It's not like I'll simply stumble across them on the side of the road during a drive. The city's too big. The city's too big a place for one person to go searching for only two people. I'll be lucky if I even catch a glimpse of the hair of either of them. With one last hopeful glance toward the open skies, I slip into Isabella's apartment and close the door behind me. I might have already grown used to it, but the waiting will always be the hardest part. More so when it's people you care about.
You're up early. I thought you left.
And that is where we are going to cut it for this episode. Oh my god. Oh my god, this episode went on way longer than I expected it to, but god, with like all the tension and everything, I needed to get to this point. God, I needed to get to this point so bad. Oh man, I am tired. I should not be up this late. It is 3:51 in the morning. I was so engrossed in this, I just kept going. I just recorded episode after episode after episode. And dear God, like that moment of like all that tension and everything that, from that when they almost died. Oh my God. Oh, I'm tired. I need sleep. So, thank you everybody so much for watching. I appreciate you being here with me. Next time, hopefully the whole gang's gonna get together. We're gonna come up with a plan and everything will be great. Finally, I need it to be better. Dear God, everything sucks right now. But we're gonna fix this. We're gonna work together, Avengers Assemble style, and we're gonna kick all ass and beat the shit out of that ghost. Maybe shoot her in the face for good measure. So, thanks again, and until next time, have yourselves a beautiful day, my beautiful, beautiful viewers.